Well, hello and welcome to Zwift Live. I'm your host, Nathan Guerra, for your Zwift Racing League finals. We're in with the ZRL finals today. It's been 3 rounds of bracket tournaments so far, and this is your weekly community feature, season finale 2025. It was the 8th and the 15th of April to get here for the first 2 rounds. It bracketed it down through and a fight out to get to the cup that we are going to be covering today. And the final today is on a points race on BRAEk-fast Crits and Grits, which is actually a community created course, which is really cool to see that we are using that. I've got my co-host with the most. It is going to be Dave Toll with me. Dave, how you doing?
Yeah, good to be back. It's been a while since Zwift Community Live, actually, so happy to jump in. It looks like the racing has been fast and furious out here. I'm stoked to see a really strong and deep C field. So this course is, I love it, that community designed. Perfect way to wrap up this season because it's going to be a throwdown out there.
100%. And I think real quickly, I do want to give everybody an idea for those that might not be familiar with exactly what is going on with the brackets and everything that's gone down. This is the battle that these riders have had to go through. A gigantic, as you can see, Cup, Shield finals. We also have the Plate and Bowl finals happening today. We will be covering, and I'm going to just go ahead and, as you can see here, this was the first round, scratch racing. Then the second round in the semifinals was TTT to get to where we are. And we are going to focus in over here on this Aeonian Cobalt at the top there. We are in the C1 Cup for the EMEA. That is who we are covering today. For the course, Dave, we're a little bit familiar with this. We saw this in ZRL race number 6, actually, as a scratch race, but they've changed it up today to be a points race.
Yeah, it's a racer's course, isn't it? Like significant sectors that you can use. There's the infamous Clyde kicker. That'll come into play a little early in the race, 22K of racing. But yeah, this is for the ambitious racer. You get a lot to work with.
100%. And I think, one thing that is interesting is how many points sections there are going to be everywhere. There's points all over the place, actually, on this course. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to see the Sker Summit South, the Sker Summit Forward South for both the FAL and FDS. The Clyde Kicker Forward is also going to be having FAL and FDS, it looks like. We've got the Champion Sprint also one time, and the Breakaway Bray. We're doing that, it looks like, 4 times. This is going to be really, as far as the FALs and the FDSs, it's a massive amount of points that people can grab out here. So it's going to make things extremely interesting how they're going to be able to use their resources, I think. When you've got this many sections out on course where you have to go absolutely all in, I come into these points races sometimes thinking, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Next thing you know, after the first sprint, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this even one more time.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling, though, Nathan, today it's a relatively small field. When you look at where we're at in this season, these are the salt of the earth as far as esports racing goes. But, I have a feeling it's going to be an aggressive race, and that's the way things are definitely. I would favor the riders that want to get out in front of this one today. It's going to be a diminished group by the time you even get into the back half of this course today. It's only 22K, but again, it's going to be ferocious.
That's actually a really good point, getting out ahead of it. I like that because there is a reality that if you don't grab points early on, if you're not aggressive about things, and that is one thing that I've made mistakes about before in the points races, is I've tried to kind of play it cool, maybe not push too hard up front, reserve something for later, and next thing you know, all the points have gone up the road already. You've wasted time. And, there is also reality that rolling through on a lot of these sections can help you out a lot more than it hurts you when it comes to at least trying to take a sprint down early on. So as we get out on course, some familiar names, I would say it's kind of cool covering a WTRL Zwift Racing League race to see so many familiar names from back in the day when we were covering the team time trials, actually. Because I remember the Gen 2s, the KC, the Crush Pod. I mean, this is a lot of teams that we've been very familiar with in the past.
Well, if there was one thing that we learned, Nathan, at Zwift Community Live, it's that without any doubt, it's the strength is in the community in these clubs, right? And you really do see that week after week after week. This is a strong field. that we're looking at right now. It really distributed amongst, I believe we have 7 teams, Nathan, that we should be shouting out here as, the battle that's gone on to get here. This is the Cobalt squad from Aeonian. As the Sangria squad, Crush Pod, that's Verdandi. You're right, Nathan. Really, really recognizable. Both Crush Pod, Verdandi, and herd of Gen 2 penguins. As a matter of fact, I remember running into some penguins in Spain. Case, that's not what you normally hear, right? Usually more Antarctica. But the KC Team Bs, so that's another team that certainly a legacy squad. Rave Against the Machine. And it is 7 total squads with Team NL Ladies. So these are legacy squads that we're looking at. And there you go. It's going to be Aeonian, to the front right away, Nathan. No rest for the weary today.
I feel like we're all, this is kind of a theme with Aeonian, isn't it? Across the board, every single one of their teams just seems to be so incredibly dominant. As we will be seeing them on the attack from the go here. The Belgium Tam now on the front, 4.1 watts per kilogram coming from her. The Gen 2's trying to make the chase there. I'd love to see Rave. I haven't commentated on a Rave race in quite a while. Where's our music, Dave? Cue the music.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, break out that old MP3. So this is so Aeonian, it's not even funny right now, as the Belgian rider, Davane, this is Tam Davane that we're looking at, as she's suddenly putting out an invitation to see who wants to go with her. Any penguins interested? It might be, as it looks like the Gen 2s, Nathan, are all over the front of this chase right now, and it's splitting the group. So it really is. There's multiple riders already just gripping it, trying to hold on to the group that they're in. So, yeah, our predictions of an aggressive start, Nathan, certainly coming true right in front of our eyes here, is that's the first kilometer. If you didn't come into this one warmed up, you're going to be in for a rough day. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that's really the first part of getting out in front of it. And what we're looking at now is going to be the counterattack coming out for the top. That's going to be interesting here. Speaking of Rave, so Nathan.
Close. That was so close.
Tam's going to hold on. But the first points being distributed.
Yeah, I wonder there if Tam was able to grab the FTS still, because what was happening there was both FTS and FAL from the get-go. I mean, why not just go hard right from the get-go if you think you can grab them both? And look at the damage that's being done here, Dave.
Why not stay on the gas right now? But I want to go back to what you're saying, Nathan. I don't see how there's really any chance that Van Weyenberg there did not take the FAL. We should talk quickly about FTS and FAL. It's been a little while, right? We might have some new viewers. You see the anvils being dropped. That's my all-time favorite power-up, to tell you the truth. As it's no longer a designated weight. It's a percentage of your weight that's being added. It just makes you that much faster as you drop like a bowling ball down an elevator shaft right here on this descent. But Nathan, going back to FAL and FTS fastest through segment, right? And the reason I'm thinking that that we saw the Rave rider there taking the FTS as she started a little further back, and it was virtually a esports photo finish there. I guess we'd call that back end API finish, to tell you the truth. That's our equivalent of a photo finish in this sport. But it looks like everything coming back together right now, Nathan, as not everybody's going to be in this group who started with this group at the bottom of that first climb, though.
Waiting on team points to update. As soon as we get them, we will have them ready to go.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, and I did see the
huge to have points today. Yeah.
Question coming through from Fritz Hartman. I appreciate him. And yes, the riders who have not in-game, but they can follow along on WTRL's website, and they will usually have a DS in their ears letting them know who got what and how as the website brings things through. And it's the same data that we're reliant on. So as soon as we get that, we will be able to show what's going on with those team points. But essentially they go all in for what they are looking for. But and they are on the BRAEk-fast and Crits. It is the route that was selected through a community vote, actually, for a race number 6 a few seasons back, or a few rounds back, actually, in this same
This
season.
ended a ZRL season, didn't it? Wasn't the final
Yeah, you're right.
race that we saw?
That is right. Yeah, except for it was a scratch race, which is a little different. I have a feeling they're racing it a little bit different today.
I would agree. So, yeah, there's so many points being distributed here that that empirical data becomes critical when you're trying to work out your strategy or what to do out here. So you're going to see the Gen 2s, Nathan. I'm going to say there's 30 different. I'm going to be way underestimating how many different varietals of penguins there are out there. But Gen 2 penguins are one of the ones that you might know pretty well. like the emperor penguin, right? And that just goes along with that herd mentality. There's so many folks that have gotten involved. They've just about hit every corner of the animal kingdom looking for species to use to be a team, part of the joy. I think that they've stuck still, though, with mammals.
Elaine from CMC saying, come and catch me to the Gen 2s coming out of South Africa right now. She came flying up. This was coordinated, I think. This was like, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to go right away over the top of the skirt. She actually bridged across from the second group and then went right through them. Now, the question is whether or not she can hold on. All right, now here we go. 7.5 watts per kilogram here coming from Elaine now. And I think she's going to do this, Dave. She's got these first across the line points. I don't know about FTS. Ooh, here come the Gentus, though. Gentus on the Chelsea's making. Oh, no, Elaine fades. I thought she had it, but the Gentus were just talking about the Penguins. The Penguins make it happen.
Boy, the severity of that segment right there in your face. Nathan, it was Zwifter Jack Cat from the OTR team that designed this route. Just want to give that shout out because it is an awesome course to race on as we go up and over the top. Yeah, these Penguins did not come to mess around today, Nathan. All business there. This might split the group one more time now. Elaine holding on. So actually pretty impressive from the CMC rider. She's making another charge here now. So this one is just body blow after body blow being thrown out here in Scotland as we take a look at the South African rider back up onto the front. And this is going to be a sub-20 rider front group that we're looking at here, Nathan. So they're making a major selection right now.
Yeah, a lot of splits actually taking place very early on here. Let's see if we can do... Well, so far, I think this is not... Well, this might be with what we just saw, perhaps. But right now, at least as things stand... With the data that we have, the herd of Gen 2 Penguins currently at the top. Rave Against the Machine are there in second place. Aeonian and Cobalt are going to be currently sitting in third. KC Team Beans in fourth. It's going to be Team NL Ladies at 24 points. Then CMC Sangria with sixth place right now at 9 points. And Crush Pod Verdandi. That's not usually somewhere where you see Crush Pod. That's a little surprising for me. We'll see if they can rally later on in the race here as they start coming through some of these point sections.
Yeah, speaks to the quality of the field that we're looking at out here too, right? Typically, Nathan, you see these teams kind of having their way with things, but we have hit the very highest level of racing for RC women. That's the selection that's been made. So only heavy hitters need apply to be up in this front group right now, Nathan. It's going to start getting a little more tactical. I think you can see the size of the gap. Oh, one rider just off the front, Elaine, still holding on there. Elaine with almost a 4-second advantage right now. So she's definitely grinding through this first part of the race. Impact racer, no doubt about it. Looks like Tamara's back at it now.
Yeah, I think this is her forte here. I think this is what she wants. This is her strength, right? Is that she's like, look, I might not be able to take these sprints, but I can sit for a long enough time off the front to grab some FAL. She is going to do that through this champion sprint just barely, it looks like, as, again, the Gen 2s take some FTS and FAL, it looks like, behind it. I have a feeling the Gen 2s are going to be pretty dominant out here today. We see a lot of green and blue, don't we, from that herd team in this front group right now, Dave?
Yeah, we do. We definitely do, Nathan. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say that you're on it. Look at the representation that they've got in almost their entire team making this front group. I'm kind of analyzing right now. I see the Kirkmeyer, the KCBs have got at least a couple jerseys up in here. How's Aeonian looking right now? I'm seeing 3 on my screen, and it might only be 3 right now. That's going to be really good news if you are in that herd of Gen 2's camp. I'm wondering, Nathan, if I'm surprised that they're not pressing on a little bit more, but the CMC might have the numbers that they were looking for here as well. Elaine is certainly, they're back on the front. How many teammates has she got with her?
I think it's just her. I think it's just her. Yeah. That's. Oh no, sorry.
So interesting. She's not sitting on right now.
Yeah, Rave looks similar. My apologies. That's the only reason why I thought there was one more, because Rave actually have 3, maybe 4 as well. I think Rave have 4, so Rave could still make something happen here, I think, if they really get some good sprints going on. Because, okay, so the battle at this point is Rave, Aeonian, and Herd. And remember, everybody, this is this race. Like, that's it. right? Like this isn't about points that have built up over time. Like it's like first, as far as the points go that build up throughout this race, there isn't some league points that are going on. This is the battle. Winner takes all on the day.
Yeah, it's all to play for today. And certainly you got to think that the Gen 2s are going to be extremely happy. And it's possible now at this point, Elaine is racing her own race, Nathan, to tell you the truth, especially at this point in the season. I mean, we're just coming through Easter, right? So there's probably some riders that on her squad that she has been racing with extensively throughout the last few months that just weren't able to show up. And you know what? Make the most of what you got. And right now, that's exactly what Elaine is doing as she's turning the screws. But I have a feeling that these ladies are not necessarily that worried about her and more worried about the tactics that are going to play out through the finale of this race. There are so many more points that we're going to, this might be a record number of points that we're seeing distributed over 22K of racing, Nathan.
Yeah, as we can see, Gen 2 is really starting to ramp it up. Talk about the ability to, because there's still plenty of Rave and Aeonian in here to steal some points, but the Gen 2s, I think, are playing it really smart. I think that they're sitting in and only using the energy they need to when they need to. They're not worried about a lane off the front. CMC are no longer... This is a points race for teams, right? She can do whatever the heck she wants because the reality is they're going to just keep sweeping up points as they come through each one of these banners.
I agree, Nathan, and it's one of those things that takes a maturity in racing to understand that, right? But this is not what we're here for. This is not our problem. More power to Elaine, and why not? Because the challenge is there, and certainly racer instinct is going to kick in, and they're definitely going to try to bring her back, and we're going to see someone who wants to win this race outright today. I think you'd agree with me, Nathan. There's something to that. No matter what the format is, riders want to get their wheel over the line first. That's going to come into play. But the big picture, 100% what you said, is about the team points and collecting those. And right now, if you're the Gen 2s, the Penguins here, and that's really the green and blue jersey that we're looking at, almost like the Slovenian national kit in a lot of ways that you see Tade wearing, right? That green color. And it definitely stands out to me that they're riding incredibly smart. You see how they're keeping their powder dry, sitting back in the middle part of the peloton, ready to cover any other teams making big moves right now. But as you said, if Aeonian or Rave aren't going to make any big plays, nor Kirkmeyer with two riders in here, they don't have to worry as much about them. So I think really, to be fair, right now, the pace is being pushed, but they can sit in the slipstream here and really let the game play to their advantage.
Megan's got to hang on right here because it's her teammate that's pressing
the pace. Yeah, they're pushing this, aren't they?
Aeonian are
there's
pressing.
4 riders.
This is interesting. I thought maybe she was trying to get rid of one of the Gen 2s. Now it looks like
Rave.
Megan jump on because this is Tam from Aeonian just looking to make a break at this point.
Okay, and there's a lot of points if she can start clocking them, at the front of this bike race. But and it's interesting because then her teammates can sit on the chase, right? So this is a good move from Aeonian here, Nathan, because what they're doing now is forcing the issue. Because if they're going to let her go up the road, and they got to remember that Elaine is up there too. If she gets up there and starts working with Elaine and they start taking the first and second points off the top of the table, and her teammates are going to be more likely to score higher because they're not having to work. But now here's the counter coming. So this is a really savvy Team NL that we're looking at here. You don't slip anything past the Dutch ladies, that's for sure. This is going to be Team NL right now coming up and over the top of that. So yeah, not a lot of cooperation here, just some good old smash mouth bike racing going on. So we make our way into the middle part of this race, not quite yet, but 22 total K. They're inside of 13K to go.
Nice little bridge across. Is it going to really add up to anything? Whether or not, now this might just be a cover and kill. That's what that looks like to me.
Kind of.
Look across,
I would agree.
1.3 on the front. I got a couple teammates behind. Let's make sure Tam doesn't get too out of control.
How many does Team NL have back in this peloton as well? Because it's at least one teammate that she has. But you're right, that was effectively did exactly that, cover and kill, Nathan, but not our leader because Elaine is gone. We might not see Elaine again today if you're a rider back in this group, at least from that perspective. And would that upset the apple cart for the overall season? Not really. Or for what we're playing for out here today, which is a points race format? Not really. So ultimately, Elaine is on another planet. This is going to be Rave right now. For me, Nathan, is the team taking the most responsibility back in the peloton, but I don't think they're even necessarily racing with intent to chase back our solo leader.
Was just checking real quick what might be going on with Team NL, and they actually lost one from that main pack, and I have a feeling that Caroline was trying to slow things down a little bit so that her teammate Val could get back on terms. That's what it looked like to me. But we're about to hit
slow
an
it
uphill.
down enough.
No, it doesn't look like it. It was a good try, but the reality is we're about to hit 2 kicks with some points on the line, and Team NL very much all alone in this main pack, while the Penguins, Rave, as well as Aeonian still have plenty of representation here in the finals.
Yeah, this is going to be another gut check time right here, and it's going to be Kerkmeyer going up to the front. How about Ilka hitting out? That's certainly going to make a statement now, as we can see what's going to looks like Rave is still riding on the front here. So they're going to cover this move right now. Remembering Elaine is still holding on. It looks like it's stabilized around 18 seconds. She's not going to put much time on them on this climb now, because they are really starting to accelerate here.
I like to see, it's been a while since we've seen the KC Team Bs in action, and it looks like they're still doing the same old thing of domination when it comes to certain parts. And they are very smart about how they use their energy. Actually, they were one of the best team time trialists we'd seen as far as the TTTs goes on Thursday. And it looks like they're starting to bring some of that again, as 2 of them do make this little bit of a juncture. That's a press on the front with a quick little cover to come across, see if they can break things apart at all. Because if they can, these 2 could, if they're strong enough and they play the right tactics, they could try to make something happen amongst this crew up here, at least to try and take FALs. But it looks like they've been covered quickly, and the Penguins, they just have too much of a herd.
Flock, Nathan. So
Thank you.
We're taking a look. It's all credit to Nathan there. They are on the herd team. I'm just kidding. But Nathan, that group is a little bit smaller, but not as much as I thought. I thought the Bees were going to do more damage than they did. Kerkmeyer, when they came into esports racing, came in as a team that was all about business and racing. I felt like certainly a big part of the community, but I felt like that entered in a new era of it's not professionalism, that's the word, but taking the racing part of things to be the top priority for your club. And now there's plenty of clubs that do that for sure. Because Aeonian is such a great example, Nathan, of a club that does it all, right? An incredible social element to what these ladies have created. I mean, meeting Carla Williams was a highlight for me. I think she's one of the founders along with, here we go. Let's take a look at these points. So Tamara's going to pick up.
I thought that KC was going to come around. Tam had one little last kick to the line there, didn't she? That was surprising.
Yeah, and so those points again, FTS, FAL, we'll take a look at how those stack up. And I don't know that this could already be including those points. I feel like this
one hasn't updated just yet. It will
not
update
quite
real
yet.
soon.
So,
the next update you'll see will be that breakaway Bray.
But, I mean, it kind of reinforces what we were saying with the numbers that they've got up in this front group and the way they're riding. The herd of Gen 2 Penguins, Nathan, are stacking points on stacks of points here as Aeonian Cobalt and Rave Against the Machine are the 2 teams, along with KCBs. I just don't know that KC have the numbers of riders. Yes, their 2 riders are scoring well and really animating this race, but 2 is not enough. You need more depth there as far as your points tally goes at each one. Because basically, Nathan, if you look at it, I believe we're scoring 10 and 5 deep. When you talk about FAL and FTS, it has changed a little bit over the years as they've adjusted to just create better racing environment out there. But riders coming back. Rave going to bring riders back into the group now, Nathan. So good for them fighting back after that absolute melee that we saw there after that last point scoring opportunity. So they're going to get back up in there and have a chance. That's certainly, locking them in right now. It's going to take something special from these 2 teams. So they're going to have to drop some Penguins out of this group, Nathan, to tell you the truth, if they want to beat them today.
Well, Rave, look at this. They're using burritos, it looks like, left, right, and center, and Rave are on the attack. I like what they're doing. They waited till this moment, it looks like to me. It was before it was Via Otis who was on the attack from Rave. Now it's going to be Lorila who is on the attack. So they're not holding back. There's definitely some tactics playing out here to see what they can do to take something back. They're still in the conversation. You saw the big jump of points from Gen 2 Penguins before, and you could see that same jump the other direction if they're able to have the FTS, have the FAL through a few more of these point sections. So there's still a lot of points out here, but so far the Penguins have shown they're just the strongest when it comes to the line. We'll see if there's a jump that does happen though.
Well, to their credit, Nathan, the one team, Rave has 4 in this group. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe I'm seeing 4 Rave riders in this group right now. They're really the only team then, if you look at how you run that numbers table, that really have a shot. I haven't seen this many burritos since I was in the Mission District. they are all over the place now. That burrito's not really going to have an impact where it is because you need to be a little closer than that to be able to take away a draft. There is no draft to begin with, so that's just sort of a burrito being chucked to the crowd.
I think this is going to do exactly what she wants, though. And look, Raver going to take first and maybe second behind here. Will Tam take this down? Tam, I think, is going to not be able to come over the top of that. One of the Gentus were there, but look, Rave take first and fourth across the line. I think that was.
Yeah, that definitely. The Penguins will give back some of their advantage. Well, yikes! I speak too soon.
Well, I think we're going to get a late update.
That time might be from the previous sprint.
Yeah. The sprints are coming too quick, aren't they?
So on Fort Riggs, that's what I was saying. There's just so many points out here. By the time you serve a pizza, there's another one coming out of the oven at this point. And is that a problem? I don't think so. But I think the next time we update this, Nathan, with that previous point scoring opportunity that we just saw, and there it is, I think, and that tells me that these Penguins are going to be almost unbeatable today, Nathan. There's just not enough points out there. Good for them. I mean, they won this race. As I said early on, was getting out in front of this one. They did exactly that. It's paid off. Once they established 4 riders in this group, and Rave now, Nathan, are they down to 3 here? But the Penguins are also, no, they're not. They still have 4. I apologize. They're running right back into the screen at the perfect time there. So Rave still has a shot, I'm going to say. It's getting a little out of range for Aeonian here, Nathan. But I believe that Rave, if they can really, I mean, they're going to need themselves to ride phenomenally well and Aeonian to ride phenomenally well and to have a power outage there at the Gen 2 Penguins HQ.
Looking through here, I believe you're correct here that this situation is really between Aeonian and Rave for second. It looks like at this point. I mean, that's a massive over 100 points for the Penguins, and even KC though.
KC just had one more rider, Nathan.
This is crazy.
Yeah,
they
just had one more rider because those two are getting way above the curve on points, but they're one rider short now of being competitive for second place, 2 riders short of third, and that's really the name of the game. It's not a numbers game; it's a quality-quantity equation here.
Look where they're starting. Look at how they're doing this. Now, does this too much?
That's how you get the
Ilka?
FTS, Nathan.
Yeah, I wonder,
right?
Is Ilka going to do this right, though? Ilka's way behind. I think that was a little too early or too late of a fade. Now she's coming through, though, and that's what this is all about. I think she's running through the crowd for that FTS. It's really smart the way she's playing this if she's got it, but I don't know. Ilka looks like she might not be able to come through. I'm not sure she's getting much of an FTS at this point, so just focusing in a little on the KC here to see how they play this.
And this is where the burrito has a huge impact, doesn't it? I don't know of a scenario where the burrito comes into play more than in this, going for an FTS and then getting burritoed.
That's a really good point. Actually, as you go all the way to the back, and then there's burritos everywhere,
and you keep getting burrito after burrito thrown up at you. That definitely doesn't work for what you were looking to do here. But not everybody's out for your outcome.
Oh, does that change the FTS hugely? Doesn't it?
Yeah, if you get a burrito wall, Nathan, which normally you'd think would be a good thing
wall.
in a person's
That's like
life, a wall of burritos, right?
I love it.
But yeah, no, you do not want that out here. Okay, interesting. But this group is going to stay together. But man, they're pushing hard. These KCBs right now, again, my heart kind of goes out to these ladies, Nathan, because if they just had one more teammate they could have ridden up in this group, they would have been so competitive today. But right now, it's her to Gen 2 Penguins. They're in that blue and green jersey. They've been absolutely crushing it out here. Rave Against the Machine, though, they watched Aeonian start to come back a little bit. That's going to be a real battle for second place here amongst our teams today. Elaine is in a different zip code at this point, everybody. Don't forget about her, the South African rider, Nathan.
35 seconds
all she needs to do is figure out how to clone herself like Dolly the sheep. And she'll be winning these things because she's been phenomenal. But again, I love the fact racing is sophisticated enough that they can let her go and realize that's not the bike race. That's not what we're doing here today. You understand, Nathan, that sophistication is something we haven't always seen.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a very good point. So Elaine is gone. There is no catching Elaine at this point. She 100%.
These are not the droids that you're looking for, though, as they told.
I mean, she kind of looks like a droid with the glasses and the little, Well, Rave
Elaine,
back on the
take
front.
that as a
Is this going to
compliment,
be? Is this
please.
going to be
That's
the last time through? I'm losing count now at this point.
Is it 4 laps that they're 4 on the?
Yeah, I would think four times through here.
This is a complicated course, isn't it, Nathan? We've seen even more complex, but this would be hard to write the route down on your handlebars.
Well, here come Rave again. And are these riders who are being caught is going to be my question. I think that they are.
On this short circuit here, they will be seeing traffic. Riders only a couple K back. Not even.
You give a little bit of a lead out
back.
even if they really wanted to, couldn't they?
Yeah. I mean, technically the game would let you do that. It wouldn't really fall within the spirit of competition. Let's not do that. Let's not have that talk. This would be getting back to the team time trial passing discussion, right? Strong opinions.
Luis here now on the front. Burrito time, trying to make sure nobody can come around. We've got Tam right behind from Aeonian. Last kick to the line, it looks like. And Tam's got the kick. She's going to take this one for the...
Tam's on fire.
KC are still there, though. That was really close.
So Stephanie Vasmuth has been phenomenal out here. I got to give these KCPs credit where it's due, but Tamara just phenomenal for the Belgian out here today, and she's hitting hard again. But Aeonian just coming up a little bit short on these points. Is Herd of Gen 2 Penguins just continues to be there where they need to be, riding the perfect race today in this points race format here in Scotland.
Quickly, I am seeing a couple of questions coming through about the frames and wheel set for today. Just so everybody knows, the bike upgrades are not on for the physics, so they will not be coming through into the race. So the traditional, I do not believe it's full neutralization, though. I'm not seeing that in the settings, so it doesn't mean that the bikes are neutralized as far as the way that they are set up. Just the upgrades that you can get on them are not applied to the physics. So I think that's why you're seeing a lot of the fast frames with a semi-climby wheel set, right? Like you see the wheel sets are not full aero wheel sets. They're not fully set up for speed. This is more a situation, I think, where they're looking for that skr, but at the same time, they want to bring some speed through for the sprints, right? And so there's that in-between that a lot of these riders are playing. So you see the S-Works, that new S-Works that everybody's been using, as well as the Pinarello. I think that's why you see a lot of those. Those are the two bikes I think you want to go toward. And I do kind of agree that I personally would use a full speed setup. I would just grunt and bear it when it comes to the climb and say, okay, I'm going to just use my climbing punch to get through so that I would have a better wheel set for the sprints. Personally, I would like that speed. But I think it's also a smart play. It's one or the other depending on how good of a climber you are.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those calls, right? Do you play to your strengths or to your weaknesses when you make that decision? And kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other as well, right? I saw one rider using a disc, and it's noteworthy that she's not in this front group. So here we go. Taking a look at another KCB surge right now. Penguins just sitting right where they need to be in this group, grabbing the points as necessary. Another gritty climb right now, but they're going to run out of real estate pretty quickly out here when you talk about that Rave Against the Machine team. Is they now, though, Nathan, are starting to get some separation here in that battle for second today. Certainly that's not what they came for, but they're doing the best with what they've got.
They've definitely kept it close, at least, though, toward the top. It's not just a complete runaway. Well, I mean, between them and Herd, there's a little bit of a, I wouldn't say competition, but at least they're showing that they're the top two. Ionian, Cobalt, and KC, they're going to have to battle for that third place podium spot, it looks like. Who's still here from KC? It's just going to be... And
actually, that's going to be close. I mean, if the KC Team Bs can put their two riders kind of in that top 3-4 spots, and it doesn't go that way for Aeonian here, because Aeonian does have one more rider in this. Let me confirm that, though, because things have changed. Maybe it is 2-on-2. Right now, wow,
KC got dropped, actually. It looks like Ilka's off the back.
She's they only have one now.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Behind, though, Claudia here and the junior rider, now it looks like without any other
Pretty
Aeonians. So there's
significant
more
points.
conversations going on
Right.
in the second and
It's
third
not just
groups.
about that front group.
Exactly,
Yeah,
because
very
the
good
next
point, Nathan.
Aeonian are back, like way back. So they've really got to think about how they're going to take as many points in this front group as they can. They've got to win this out essentially to take care of what's happening behind on the points.
Absolutely, we won't know where we're at as far as the final result goes until everybody has finished here today, and that's been one of the cornerstones of WTRL and ZRL racing. Nathan, is that every rider matters, and 100%. Things are going to really be decided back in that second, third group today. Although these are the heavy hitters as they're inside of the penultimate kilometer. Here's our race leader again. Not going to forget about Elaine. She's gone more than a minute out at this point. So, Elaine, great job today. Congratulations on a fantastic ride. I mean, yeah, things got tactical behind you, but you were the strong woman of the day without any question.
Steady 177 beats per minute. Looks like a threshold effort all day long here. Just wants to get away. Doesn't like the sprints and loves the TT situation. So that's what Elaine is going to do as she rides away with this one. It is going to be behind the Gen 2s starting to take the charge a little bit, or maybe just controlling the front of the race, actually. At 2.7 watts per kilogram, I don't think there's any charge going on, but it's steady.
It's hard
pace.
to tell with the Penguin, right? With what they're doing exactly. Kind of looks like they're taking charge. They're positioning well. Let's say that.
Good position here from the Gen 2s, 100%. Now, 1, 2, 3 of them left. Rave, 1, 2, 3 of
Three
them
Raves.
left. 1 NL, 2 Aeonian, and 1 KC rider. Behind, there is a little bit of a chase going on, though, it looks like, with Ilka. Look, she can see them just in the distance, and they're just going to hit the main climb right as she's like probably 50 meters off, 100 meters off, because she's definitely working pretty hard here.
It might as well score her as up in that group, right? It's not going to be based on time. It's on points. So technically, she's the next rider in line there. So she'll continue to fight. What's more important is that no one catches her at this point.
This is the chase from Rave right now, actually, here. So, and that's points. Every single one matter.
Yeah, and then Rave is up there too. So Rave's sitting in second right now. I think it's looking good enough that Gen 2 Penguins just need to finish in this group, and they should be done and dusted with a beautiful win out here today. That's a team combined effort as well. No one rider was the superstar today. The team was a superstar, so good job to them. But Rave against the Machine and Aeonian, yeah, it looks like Rave in pretty good shape themselves. KCB's going to be... I'm sure they're already looking forward to next season. That's for sure. Here goes Caroline, our Dutch rider.
She threw that burrito right before the line, didn't she? Like, that was right before that banner in order to double power up, perhaps. I wonder what she just collected. Looking through here, I believe it was either an arrow or... No, there's only one feather out there today, so I think she got an arrow coming through there. She's gone. I don't think she's coming back. She's like, I mean, that's full gas, it looks like to me. Caroline.
This is the spirit of a racer right now, up and out of the saddle as she digs in. Pitch really kicks up right here.
Ooh, 7.2.
She looks like she's in pretty good shape.
Watts per kilogram. I mean, she opened up almost 10 seconds right away. 5.3 steady here. Tam at 5.0. I think that Caroline's gone. She's going to go ahead and take down
ride this
place.
Through. Yeah, they will not see her again. But again, that's not going to have a huge impact in our overall. That really the fight between, I'm going to say it's between Aeonian and KCBs, to tell you the truth, Nathan, at this point. That third spot on the podium for our teams today. Great job today by our winner. That's Elaine over the line. Done and done for the South African champion, gold standard today. And, same thing here as Dutch rider. That's going to be Caroline, Team NL. I don't think they bring her back.
Yeah, it's gone out to 9 seconds. 9 seconds in I mean, she's almost out of sight at this point. Nice little kick at the bottom. I've tried that one before, and it's worked. I had one rider come across to me one time on that same exact attack that she just did. So it's a good tactic if you're watching for a tactic. You've got it feathered. I didn't think there was another feather, actually. Interesting. I thought they were only getting one. I saw in the rule set because they did get one initially. So there are actually 2 feathers out on course. Just so everybody
Remember that.
knows.
Yeah, so she
You get it
obviously
at the
has a
same
good
banner, I
streak
think,
going.
too. I think that's what that is. They got it at the same banner because you get one right from the get go across the banner by the pens, and then you get it again when you come through that banner that same way. So this is a heads up to everybody. Rave with the last little kick to the line. This is for that 3rd place. It looks like the Gen 2s, though, are going to get the inside corner. Nicely done. KC, nope, Gen 2 for the next one across the line there. Then Gen 2s again for top 10s here. Still watching through as Rave rolls on through. We'll wait for our points to start updating. All of these positions matter, so we definitely want to highlight them. As we've got Nina here from Aeonian coming through to try and take down the other Gen 2 right behind her. That's going to be Anais. And then Ilka, did she get caught? I think Ilka got caught before the line there.
And what was the team? Was it one of the Rave Rider, or was it a Penguin that was just in front of her?
It was a Rave rider that was chasing her, actually, I think.
So that'll be
going on there.
Yep. So the finish points are what we're talking about now. This is the one time where everybody scores out here, deeper than just FTS and FAL. So these finish line spots, everybody matters, as Nathan was just saying here.
A lot of battles going on actually behind here. Tons of them.
And that's the one, really, Casey, Nathan, with the Aeonian. That's 3rd place, only 13-point difference the last time they updated the points. So that's close enough that those ladies really realize how much it matters.
Yeah, as you can see, everybody finishing up here. It's going to be one more CMC rider, a few others behind. We can take a look at the top 10 across the line. It'll be a little while before we can get any updates. I think it just updated. Though. Oh, yeah, you're right.
I don't know if that's the final, though, but it did just update for us again. And it got 1 point closer there between Aeonian and KC, Nathan, but I have a feeling that was the final points update as well. So good job today with the points. That was fantastic. We've never seen a race update as well as this did today, actually. So very, very nice.
Shout out to WTRL if they upgraded the servers specifically for us.
It showed, and that's really fun that we have these points. And I am going to say, Nathan, best guess is that are our final points there. Is it certainly tracks, makes sense. Congratulations to her, to Gen 2 Penguins, racking up 528 points. Things were close out there because Rave Against the Machine never gave up. That's the spirit of an esports racer. They'll end up with 444 points in 2nd. Aeonian Cobalt for 3rd today. They do hold off a very inspired KC Team Bs. They might not be might not have had a huge team, but they were mighty in nature. So good job to Kerkmar in 4th. And then the Dutch Team NL ladies ending up with Carolinen, doing a great job representing the team, finishing 2nd on the day, 186 total points for the Dutch women. In 6th is Crush Pod Verdandi. They had 41 points today. And then the KMC Sangria, the team of our winner, Elaine. So makes up for that 7th place because they were at the top of the table with an outright win today. Good job, Elaine. I feel like Elaine should have had more than 13 points.
Yeah, interesting.
To tell you the truth.
Maybe there's a few more that need to come through for her.
Just by herself, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
just the finish line spot should have been more than 13. But I just did my taxes, so I'm really focused on numbers.
Our top 10 across the line, just for a shout out to the riders as they. It's always a little.
Yeah, I should say, Nathan, that was a preliminary result that I just ran through, estimated. As there it goes. That is the final update. There are the points there for. Well, I still feel like she'd have more, but that's KMC Sangria getting 51 points now, so that might have updated with those finish points there for Elaine. There, but it is still everything I said order-wise remained the same. The gap actually. Oh no, KC Team B's did jump up into 3rd, Nathan.
Okay,
so I have to backtrack and say I thought those were the final points. They weren't. The updated points came in, and KC Team B's did surpass Aeonian Cobalt there. So good job, KC Team B's.
Wow.
Remember going into it, I thought, well, yeah, it looked like that was, it was at 13 points, and then it was at 12 points when they updated, and then at the final point scoring opportunity, also known as the finish line, that's what happened. KC Team B's did it. Well played. That's what you call never giving up out there.
Yeah, and that goes to show that every single place matters out there, doesn't it? And having the numbers as well at the end of the day is a big thing, whether or not you show up with a full team and everybody battling behind. It wasn't just that front group, in a points race, the whole team mattered. And that's one of the highlights, of the Zwift Racing League really is the reality that how much every single individual's battle out there is going to matter to get you guys to the line and make sure that you're able to get the position that you deserve. So nicely done to everybody out there.
And also, Nathan, how much it matters showing up for each other week after week, right? Each riders really depend on each other, and makes a huge, huge difference. The depth of your team. It was quality and quantity today, no doubt about it. But yeah, being there is a big part of what we learned esports and community means.
One other thing we haven't done in a while is the coverage of the C category with these ladies and how committed. When I first showed up, so I just want to talk about when I first showed up to this race specifically in pre-productions, I jump into the pens 30 minutes before to make sure everything's kind of working well and I've got the right views and just everything's set. Literally the whole pen filled up with 30 minutes to go. They were all there and set. That tells you how serious, because a lot of times there's this idea that the A's and the elites are the only ones taking this really serious. These ladies, across all the categories, they take this stuff seriously. They show up week in and week out. And the fact that we see the same teams and a lot of the same names or new names in the same teams that we've been covering for, Dave, when did we first start the TTT? It's got to be 5 years ago now?
2020.
2020.
Yeah, I would say April of 2020, exactly 5 years.
Same teams. Actually, a lot of familiar names.
At least 10 of the names in this race I recognize from over the years here. But every single team, Nathan, we recognize. That's impressive. That's what you call in for the long haul. And yeah, these are the true blue community Zwifters. And I would echo what you're saying and even add on to that these ladies take things more seriously or do it with more heart than maybe any other category out there. When you look at the commitment at the C's, something really special about how they stand up for each other, how they show up for each other. It applies for the C men too, guys, not leaving you out of that, because I see the same thing. This is maybe where Zwift is its very strongest in the social media support. These are the folks that have each other's backs and make racing better. So yeah, 100% what you said plus some, 110% what you said.
It just is really impressive to me that for the last 5 years, they have had these battles too. Like this same crew, they know it's not like they don't know each other after that amount of time, right? And they probably have. I wonder how much trash talk actually goes on. Probably between them.
I don't think a lot. To be honest, it's not their style.
Maybe fun though, not where it's actually serious trash talk. It's more, hey, we're going to take
you know what I mean, though? Trash talk isn't really their vibe.
True.
With these women, at least. Maybe more so with the B men. I think that's where trash talking hit, and the positive kind, the fun kind, But I think that maybe the B men is where that hits its peak trash talk. These ladies, for me, are peak have each other's back kind of group. But again, that's an opinion for sure.
Jumping in now with the we're going to go on over to the EMEA East A1. We'll get another look like we just did at before the ladies raced for that C's. A little bit different category that we'll be jumping in with. They're going to start in about 3 minutes and 30 seconds or so. But we do have a second here to take a look at how we got to where we are with this cup. As this is going to be quite the battle out here. We've got some big hitters, actually. So jumping across, as you can see here, the way that this played out, the first one was a scratch race to figure out who's going to go to the plate semifinals on the right, and then finally the plate and bowl finals on the far right. Those will be battled out today on this final points race. It was a TTT on that semifinals for both of these sides of each of these after that scratch race. In the situation that we're going to see here, it was the Dragons at the top in the TTT for that semifinals round on the left-hand side, and Racing Without Borders also at the top in the TTT. Beast Mode, presented by Rose, were also there, and CBKC, Power Racing Team, as well as Not Unknown ESRT and DBR Hurricanes. You can see where each one of them came through. I love how WTRL has put these little cups, as you can see here. That means that they're going to go through to the cup in order to make it there. So as you can see, left-hand side, this is what we're talking about at the top right here. This one is what we're going to be jamming with. Excuse me, I'm totally on the wrong thing. I'm giving this whole wrong, completely wrong. You get the idea, but those were the ones that just played out actually for the A1's EMEA East. For the West, different teams. But it's going to be the Down and Dirty Ospreys,
What's incredible
DPAC
is
Elite, and the Dragons Level, Sisu, SCR, SC Balder, and Zed Sun Underpants. That's who we're watching now.
You know, the real takeaway here, Nathan, is how many people participate in the ZRL just by the administration that you have to look at here to show us the levels and the cups and the plates and the bowls and the spoons and the not, insane how much there is to this.
What's the spoons one? That's what I want to know. Where are the spoons?
Yes.
I like that.
I turned it into a nursery rhyme accidentally, but yeah, I mean, it is it's just this worldwide phenomenon that continues to roll on, and we are so far past the pandemic bump at this point, and we're also into late April now, and we're still seeing this kind of participation. So esports has really made its way into that year-round. It's not, obviously there's going to be ebbs and flows season-wise, but the fact that this many people are still actively racing is super impressive.
Definitely. Now, as we get into the racing itself,
that was a full field that we just had with our women's Cs. I mean, that was as healthy of a field as you see at any point during the year.
Yeah, 38 seconds with another full field. It looks like to me. Look at this, Dave. I mean, this is a full pen. Dragons out here. They're coming in as one of the hot teams, I think, that a lot of these other teams are going to be watching. Zed Sun is here, though, too. We've covered them before.
What
yeah,
category
we're in with
this?
the A1. This is A1 Cup for the EMEA West is what we're in. The Down and Dirty Ospreys are going to be here. The Dragons are here. We've got DPAC Elite with Pacheco, actually. One of the Zwift employees, actually. He's a Watopian jumping in with us as well. Great to see him. I mean,
There's
this
some big
is
names
this
here.
is yeah, this is one of the top.
Fabian
that's for
Devola.
sure.
Fabian Devola, Daniel Pettinger in this event. So David Pacheco as well, the Portuguese man. And I'm just taking my first look. Oh, Sisu has the Ariel Haimovic is taking the start here. The Sisu's brought their strong squad. Shout out to them. Richard Wilson, Peter Sasmoski, Chris Poole, and Kieran Meaney taking the start for Sisu today. Swedish Swifters. Great to see them. So, yeah, there's a really strong A field, and they're having at it. So we talked about how coming into this race, it's just under 22K of racing here in Scotland. But, boy, you better come in warmed up because a lot goes down in the first K.
Yeah, full gas, and it's going to be the Dragons right from the get-go. And we saw this earlier, didn't we? Actually, no, it's Zed Sun on the front, immediately taking this by storm. Holy cow, Zed Sun on a rampage here.
So Zed Sun today with Cameron Sharp, John Glass, John Bailey, Roy Rostius, and Steve James. This is going to be, let's see here. I'm going to hold before I get looking for one more clue here. Figure out who this Zed Sun man is. The team has such a great history. There is no question that Zed Sun has been one of the top esports teams, definitely coming from down under. You think of the AHDR squad, and Zed Sun is two of the great examples here. So this is going to be, I believe, Nathan Roy Rostois.
Yeah, on the front, giving it a go. It's going to be, and then Liban from DPAC and Devola here coming across real quickly, it looks like to me. Now the battle for the actual points across the line is going to be SZ here with Thomason. Thomason, lots of feather power-ups throwing down. We'll be able to see in just a moment here. Want to make sure we catch the images. I think it's going to be DPAC, though, BRAEk, yeah, I
Wow.
think BRAEk able to grab those points just at the line from Zedson.
And look at the speed that they are carrying through there. So, yeah, again, if you weren't just joining the race with us earlier, FTS, FAL points, left, right, and center on this course. There's the anvil throwing in. So, I mean, these guys seem to want to roll this one right now, Nathan. As Swedish Swifters have got two, so it makes sense that they do. The Zedson rider who lit the fuse is still there. This peloton's going to come back. But, yeah, this, I mean, boy, you can just feel the speed difference that we're looking at here. This is going to go by in a flash here. Don't bat your eyes as the Dragons rolling up now as well. Wow, what a pace we're looking at. Charles McCarthy, level rider. Excuse me, C. McCarthy. That's not Charles McCarthy. That's a rote habit there. We've seen Charles racing for so many years.
Just getting a quick update on our distance to go, and we'll be good to go now at this point. As the riders here, up and over the top, will get points here in just a second as well. As
Connor McCarthy, I apologize, level rider there, Nathan.
Ooh, level. They've been a new team at this top section. I really like to see what level are up to. 19.4K to go, as we are a little over 2K in, up and over the top of the Skur. As now the Dutchman from T Dragons, it looks like, as well. How many Dutch riders are actually on this team? Interesting enough, I think they originally were a German team. They've changed it up a little bit here, it looks
just
like.
Just a couple today. It looks like Swan and Birkens. The Lithuanian rider on this squad.
Our rider nearby list definitely struggling a little bit here. We're going to see if we can get an update to that. Sorry about that, everybody.
All right. So, again, though, this is really just so many of these point-scoring opportunities on a really complicated course that they're not complicated, makes it sound like it has its challenges. It has its challenges, but in a good way. Challenging course would be a better way to put it.
John Glass, it looks like, toward the front. I think we should be good now. Interesting enough as far as the rider nearby list. Apologies on that, everybody. It is going to be Lear now from the Dragons to the front from that Sunweb kit now, and trying to get an early FAL. Nice little kick here from Lear. Up and over the top. Is looking to see what he can pull off.
It is a good point that when you see a rider doing this, they're rarely thinking about both FAL and FTS. It's much more about the first across the line points, knowing that the speed so we're on the clock now. As you can see that he has started the segment here. It's so hard to try to, at this point now, by yourself, be the fastest through this segment. But he's built up enough of a gap there that he really does think he can hold on and get those really valuable points that are offered for the first rider across the line. And then that scores, I believe it is 10 deep. We're still scoring here today. So those points really, really are just rock solid. There's FAL points that, the rider who finishes second there very well will be up there scoring more points total than Yannick. But Yannick does hold on for the Dragons there to score a bunch of points. He'll get, again, those FAL points, and we'll see how we distribute the rest of them as we're going to be closely watching. The points were updating really quickly for us earlier, so we'll hope for more of that here. Swedish Swifters, look at this, Nathan, all over the front right now as they definitely have a plan. We're talking about in the women's race how getting out in front of it, making every split, just trying to keep the numbers for your team. And once you establish the numbers, then you lock down that group. That was exactly what we saw in our women's race as in that numbers game, it's not quite that simple, but the more you have in the group, the more riders you have picking up major points. And let's go ahead and pick up now a peloton that not really stabilizing as these guys just hitting out all over the place today. Yannick's still off the front, but I think that's going to reset right in front of our eyes. There's a good example of how an anvil can move you right on up.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a move from Oyer. I think that Oyer's making a move here, actually, as he uses that anvil, kind of a little bit of a Kaminsky move. Not exactly the same, but We saw this in the elite racing side of things where Kaminsky made a move like this last year.
Kind of a different point in the race, right? In the final.
Yeah, in the final and on the downhill, but looking for the sprint points is what he's doing, and I think he might get these. This is enough distance, I believe.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we've seen it happen twice now out here through these segments. It seems like you have points coming up every 2 or 3K out here. Not a long course, but really active. And I think he pulled off that heist quite nicely there.
Easy FALs. Now here comes the big kick from behind. Who's going to take those ones? Looks like it was going to be, again, an SD rider. Now with
good for them. So that's wow. Possibly first, second, and third for FALs and some FTSs along the way. So let's expect to see Swedish Zwifters, Nathan. They were 6 points out the last time it scored. I bet you that we've got a new leader. If we don't, I'll be shocked. I will eat. I'll give you all of the tutti fruities I have left from Spain. Actually, I don't have any left. I'm just kidding.
Fast,
you know I don't have any left. You saw people eat into those like hungry wolves when we were over there. But thank you again, Mark. So, all right, Swedish Zwifters, the baller team right now. I have a feeling, Nathan, that they'll be our new leaders when we update the points. But these Dragons, they are really dangerous. They're always going to be. And you know what? They could very well prove me wrong. We got ourselves a great bike race going on. BRAEk's going to want to step it up a little bit, as our Zeta Sunderpants. They don't want this to turn into a 2-team race this early.
No, they don't. Now toward the front, it looks like
you got to get some points on the board, though. You know what I mean, Nathan? It starts getting out from you really, really quickly here. You have a couple bad points opportunities go by, and all of a sudden you're fighting for third.
Sisu now on the attack, trying to bail water at this point on a sinking ship, perhaps. 34 points is what they've got on the board. Zed Sunderpants was expecting a little bit more, so really this is a BRAEk trying to keep himself in the conversation. Dragons versus SC Boulder is the conversation that we see at this moment.
So the Dragons are wearing what kind of would be historically that Sunweb jersey, right? The white and black. And as you said, they used to be almost entirely German. Not the case at all anymore. So
we can take a close look at them. No problem here. This is going to be the kit with that Cervelo on the side, on the shoulder, with the Sunweb.
So, Nathan, they updated the points, and it was Swedish Zwifters then leapfrogging the Dragons now up into first. Dragons still holding on, though. Top 2 spot there in second with BRAEk Elite in third. BRAEk a little bit closer now to the Dragons, though. We should talk about BRAEk, actually. They're the team to watch right now. They've got the most to gain. They kind of watch.
They're really good at their tactics are so good.
They've got the biggest talent. I mean, watch out, Nathan. It's not over, believe me.
147, they're so in the conversation still. We saw how many points were added up by the end. 620 points or something like that in the women's race. Lots on the line.
It's going to be less. The team that wins the men's race here is going to be under 600 points. For sure.
Yeah. But how many are available means that there's so many opportunities to be on the offensive and the defense, right?
See, the thing is, you're going to have this is going to be a 3-team race rather than a 2-team race, if you ask me now. And BRAEk is going to really come on strong. So they're the best. They're the team that's going to be who you watch out for in the second half of this race, without a doubt. Riders like Devola, Pacheco, Pettinger, Liebel, and Collard. So this is a super strong team with a big Belgian influence. They're as savvy as it gets. I mean, you're talking about a couple esport expert level masterclass guys here. So, yeah, I'm definitely still believing that BRAEk is in with the hunt. But I tell you what, if you want to beat the Swedish Zwifters today, you better activate your plan because these boys don't play.
Mandio from Level now making his way to the front. Good to see Diego.
It's a cool name.
Out of Portugal. Yeah, very cool.
Diogo Armandio.
BRAEk now making their way to the front. Now, there are no points at this next banner. This is just making their way up and over the top of a climb.
It's like the only banner without points.
Yeah,
the only banner that doesn't have points in Scotland today.
Oh. No, it's a finish line banner. So I think I think that they would put them in if they could. The way that they're doing it
figure out a way
today, right? If we could put some points here.
They're trying to pack 20 pounds of points into a 10-pound bag, right? A lot of points.
I like it, though. I want to talk about that, because I kind of like it that there's so many points at different, because you're able to really find sections to defend and have offense. And there's always an opportunity on course. It doesn't just get decided.
I think that's why points racing is so incredibly popular in the velodrome, is because it's just points left, right, and center. If you take your eye off the prize and aren't actively going for it, you're out of the mix, right? So it's a great way of not many sports remain exciting through the first, second, third, and fourth quarters, right? But I feel like points racing really has the ability to keep things more. And you hop it up, you add excitement with double point sprints in the finale and all of that. It's one of the strengths of WTRL and ZRL is keeping things entertaining. It's spicy without. I mean, if you just have a point sprint every 100 meters, you definitely you kill the taste buds.
Sisu's still on the front. Near 100, that's totally right, Dave. In my opinion, having more sections in order to and opportunities in order to
keep you
race your bike,
right?
to race your bike,
yeah.
right? Like not just sit around, not just get it decided at one section. Like there's or 1 point grab, and so I think this today with the amount that there are here, though, it's kind of put an exclamation point on it.
I agree. This is about as much as you. This is as fast of a tempo as you can dance to.
Buffet. Take what you like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because it's true when no knock on the race across America or ultra endurance sports, but when they talk about how the excitement is people not going to sleep, you realize that it's not as spicy as it could be. And that's exactly the opposite here, where this is really, really intense. And, it's not going to be that long until we're back at it here. Here we go. Zed Sunderpants is going to make a run. They're at 60 points. They are not completely out of the equation, but they need to have a couple good point opportunities. And they're trying to make the most of it. They're all over the front right now. And here we go. So that's going to be, again, this was the man who was the first to hit out today. Back at it now. But and it is the Welsh rider on the team. There's the big clue that we're looking for, as that is Steve James.
Here comes Richard Wilson up and over the top, 595 watts, 7.1 watts per kilogram as he hits up into 164 beats per minute. This is already using his feather power up, pretty early attack actually, maybe not trusting in his sprint perhaps, and putting some of the other riders on the back foot. They might let this go. There may be a situation where they go, look, I don't want to chase this, and it's just FAO. The FTS is worth a lot. We're going to maybe catch him anyways. He goes down to 1.4, though. Does he find himself in a situation where he bit off more than he can chew maybe here, Dave?
Yeah, well, you know what? I love the fact that he took a big old chomp at it, because here we go, holding on to almost 3 seconds right now. That's going to be our dub, Richard Wilson. Sisu, this is the spirit of Sisu, right? Go big or go home, and then we're going big right now. It's going to be, there's John Glass back up to the front now. So the Zed Sun rider, he's going to make his move, attacking out of the peloton. All right. These two are going for FAL, a lot of FTS as well, but Glass now taking over like a boss. Well, no.
Glass goes across, still 7.5. He's going to go harder than this, though. This
did he hesitate, wondering, did he want to work? That's an interesting moment right there. But it's Glass now, so he's clearly thinking FAL first across the line. But I think he's got a problem, and that problem is going to be Linus Thomas. And here comes a Swedish Swifter, and he's back at it. The Swede has hit hard. This is some authority being shown right now by Swedish Swifters, the top team on the day, and they're going to try to take top points. And possibly, Nathan, is this going to be the FAL and FTS?
I think so. Not? I think, I have a feeling that was... It goes to 0 watts per kilogram immediately. Like he was
even
done.
Gives me more hope for him. He buried that, Nathan. Completely scraped the bottom of the wattage barrel right there. And the fact that he went to 0 like that tells me he couldn't have given any more.
Heinrich Oyer over the top on the Pinarello. Here comes
and he'll take a counterattack from the Dragons.
Yeah, is this the Dragons? That might be an attack. That might have been a panic. That was panic. That was, I'm getting dropped. That's what that was. And just over accelerated, I think, thinking perhaps there was a little too much of a gap. Sometimes you can mistime your sprint and just keep going, and like, what? Whoa, okay. Suddenly I'm off the front. And now he's going to go backwards. This is the accordion you don't want. You want the accordion that goes, or the elastic that snaps forward, not backwards when you're about to start the next sprint. Because now a bunch of burritos are going to go. Because the burritos completely changed this next sprint.
We haven't seen burritos as effectively in use as what we saw in the women's race earlier. We'll see if the guys are able to pull off the same thing. That's going to be Steve James again hitting out. Super active today for the Zed Sun rider. This is his MO. Get out in front of it. 9.4K to go. points updating. As actually, we've got a couple updates to come now. I'm just going to hold for a second.
They're going
Nathan.
so quick. Yeah, they're going pretty quick here. So
literally, there's a server in China right now that's smoking and overheating right now, trying to calculate these points, and it can't do it. It's about to shut down.
now
Maybe in the States. I don't know where that server is, actually, but it's hurting.
What is happening with Zedsun's situation here? As it looks to me, Cameron Sharp, who's all on this team? That's what I want to know. I'm trying to figure out who's all on the Zedsun team. John Glass, Steve James,
John Bailey.
Is Bailey
Roy
here?
Rostois.
Is that right? Oh. No, I was just wondering how you figured out that this is Steve James. Oh, because of the Welsh flag.
Welsh.
Nice job, Dave. Wow, you're way ahead of it today, aren't you?
Every dog finds a bone. Isn't that the saying?
Devola trying to come through, keep DPAC in the conversation. They're at 181. The update there is there. Oh my gosh, look at this.
Oh,
look at this.
Yeah.
What they go what?
Four.
What is that?
4 of them.
4 of them in the top 6 is what it was?
Oh,
I don't
come
think they're going to be stoppable today. This might be a 600 pointer. I did see DPAC getting involved at the front though.
We haven't seen Swedes like this since Vikings 1,200 years ago. I mean, this is crazy. They are berserking their way off the front of this race right now.
We did get an update right before that points went through.
We're 2 updates behind, I think.
Are we? Okay.
Yeah. So this is really going to jump now to. I'm going to guess that Swedish Zwifters have more than more than 100-point advantage on the Dragons. But again, that's just my thumbnail estimation. But they really are charging it. As a matter of fact, they're crushing this race right now. Very impressive job by the Swedes. The Dragons have been fighting though, and I'm surprised that DPAC is not closer. Do we expect a DPAC charge here, Nathan, or is just Swedish Zwifters that good today? Because we're down to it. I mean, there's 3 more opportunities to score, including the final. So, or 2 more, actually. It is just 2, isn't it? So yeah, they're going to run out of real estate pretty quickly. Zedsun doing everything they can. I mean, they certainly haven't been sitting back on their heels waiting for the race to happen. They've been trying to make the race just such a strong, deep field here. And the Swedish Zwifters just pounce like a mountain cat every time it matters.
Zedsun coming over the top again, it looks like. It was John.
Or 2.
It looks like, but not going to be happening there from him. As well, Zedsun actually double attack. This is coordinated. This is definitely coordinated that we're seeing here from Zedsun. 2 of them going here, one sitting a little bit, and is this tactic going to play off for them? And I think the reason why they're doing this is specifically because they haven't been able to win the outright sprints, so they're trying to get ahead of it here.
Right, and I mean, I admire the courage here. It's not going to completely backfire. I mean, they're going to score a lot of points here. It's just, I don't know if they hold on for the top points, but they may. I mean, a little bit of a tugboat up there to get our man clear is that Roy used his teammate now, and he is going to hold on for FAL.
Wow.
Good work, Roy.
I mean,
there you go.
He walked away with that one. And the way they went at that, because they waited for the sprint, that was interesting.
Who was his teammate there, Nathan, that was helping him launch that?
Taff. It was our buddy Steve James.
Was it John Glass?
Yeah, it was James. It was James, I believe.
Steve James.
I believe
Steve
it was.
James.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, I think the reality of these sprints coming one after another, they took advantage of that and may have got the FTS. That may have also got FTS because they went so early, whereas everybody else was sitting up.
That'll be impressive. I agree. I think they may have as well, which does not happen too often. But I think that there's some heavy legs at this point as well. I mean, not that long of a race, but it has been. I mean, I'm going to guess that we were looking at a pretty high watts per kilogram average out here for what we've seen.
This is an actual counter. There was a burrito thrown. Yannick here went with the burrito, rolled through with some speed, up into 50 kilometers per hour. Nice little push, as you can see here. Now, Sisu, though, making the chase. That's interesting. Now, Sisu, what is their motivation to chase this down? They're sitting at 93 points. Maybe just to get involved? Because, I don't know. It's going to be Zedsun, Sisu, also Dragons. Dragons now just covering in kills. I think what's happening behind here is it's going to be Tim Birkins that is going to cover that for 4.8 watts per kilogram. Pettinger just sitting in. BRAEk maybe going to get the best out of this whole situation, as most of them have just been sitting and waiting for this next time through. They might collect the most points that they have so far.
Right, James has gone again. The points did update, and I was wrong. Swedish Swifters do not have more than 100 points. As a matter of fact, it's significantly less than that. As you can see, the team points have updated. Here's more points waiting, and they are charging now. Again, I mean, Steve James has certainly been one of the animators of this race, and there he is again on the front, but this time it's Yannick. Yannick is the Dragon right on his wheel, but the Dragons are going to start making their move. And as a matter of fact, Nathan, this might be the turning point of this race, as the Dragons are closer than we thought, and they might be taking advantage of this next section to make it much closer. Here we go. It is on like Donkey Kong now. The Dragons know they got to make their move. They're breathing fire here, Nathan. This is going to be interesting. That's going to be Daniel Pettinger coming through now. So that's one of the BRAEk riders. They're still in the hunt.
Zedsun going to take some solid points. Not FTS, though. Thomason, I think, might be getting that FTS. It is Dragons for third across the line. There's Zedsun still
third,
involved.
Dragons fifth, Dragons
BRAEk.
sixth, Nathan.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, I think the Dragons definitely tighten this up now. So Swedish Swifters might have seen the highest point advantage that they've had start shrinking.
Now we are heading into the final climb, and there's a massive amount of points for the finish line, as we saw in the women's C race that we did cover.
Use 87 as the points differential before that last sprint. So if it does get closer, Nathan, it's not going to be under 50, I would not think. So kind of estimating right now, guessing, we're probably sitting at 65, 70 points, the advantage that the Swedish Swifters have. They're probably pretty happy with that. Back to about 125 points to BRAEk. That may increase, although this is going to be a little bit closer than maybe we thought. The Dragons seem to be poised to make a run at this one. Swedish Swifters race to lose at this point, Nathan, and this might be even where we see them, offense being the best defense at this point.
Yeah, look at Zedsun. They keep on. Okay, so the way that Zedsun are playing this is really interesting because they continue to play their strength, I think, and their strength is more of a TT type effort. They're rulers. They like to get away. They do not like these kicks to the line. I think that they're trying to over and over again play a tactic that relies on where they can have a strength, because if they try and take on these other teams just to the top of the climb, I think they're getting beat.
Well, if you're Swedish Swifters, you let Zedsun go because that's not your problem. The Dragons are your problem, and you try to get the Dragons to chase them and then counter over the top of that. I feel like that would be the way that you want to play your cards if you're Swedish Swifters. This is not your problem right now. We're kind of back into like we saw with the lane in the women's race there, where the points that she was taking are actually good for the Swedish Swifters right now because Zed Sunderpants won't be a part of that final conversation. It's the Dragons that you're worried about. Keep your eye on them.
Well, things have tightened up significantly for that second and third place so far. We still have a couple of riders probably
64
rolling through.
Points.
Yeah, this is interesting.
64 points. So yeah,
this is doable. This is doable across the line. Now you've got to beat a lot of. Like a lot of...
Yeah, you're going to need to put three of your guys in the top 6, and they're going to need to only have 3 in the top 15 kind of thing to find enough of a delta to overcome them. But it is doable. You need some help here, too.
One of them falling off. 2 of them falling off. Is that right? Or is that a Sisu rider back there? They're very similar, those kits.
Well, obviously, no longer falling off, but just on the back of the group. But it is 2.
Yeah, David Pacheco now off the back. That's really surprising.
Some of the bigger names. Pacheco with the BRAEk team, though.
Wow. That puts Zed Sunderpants in a really good position up ahead here, too. Because without BRAEk, and now Oyer off the back. Look at this. Everything's changing in this final here. Look at this, Dave. 1, 2. 2.
Well,
only 2. I see 2 SC riders. That's it.
So here's what's not going to change. DPAC will be third when this is over. They're not going to lose fourth. They're not going to give up third, and they're not going to take second. The real question for me is, are there enough points available for the Dragons to overhaul Swedish Swifters? And Swedish Swifters realizes that, again, Zed Sunderpants is not their problem. We are locked and loaded. 2.1K to go. I mean, obviously, you got to like the position that Swedish Swifters are in. If they can just go for man with the Dragons here, they'll be able to neutralize everything. This is going to be DPAC now charging out of that group. They're going to be sending Libon and Collard here, the two of the three Belgians on that squad, but that's not going to be enough. Well, maybe it's enough for them to overhaul the Dragons here. Nathan, I said that they'd stay in third no matter what they did. They're trying to prove me wrong.
Yeah, look at this Taft now though
Still
from
thinking,
SC.
no.
I don't know, like how many riders do SC have up here? That's my question for this third place position. That's the only thing.
They have 5.
Zed Sunderpants? Is that right?
No, I thought you said Swedish Swifters.
Sorry, no. So yeah. So I think Zed Sunderpants are sitting on 1, 2, 3 riders at this point. So what can you're right. I don't know that they can challenge DPAC at this point.
Oh, there's no way. They're more than 120 points back.
Yeah.
Right. So if they were, within 50 points, maybe, but that's that definitely. This really for me is one of the Dragons.
There is a battle with the Sisu situation though, and Zed Sunderpants though. Definitely. Now DPAC saying, okay, I just want to take it down. So here we go with McKee. McKee now making a move.
Yeah, and you get the feeling, too, Nathan, that there is an element of just winning this bike race, right, out of this group. Points be damned. Well, I mean, obviously you're going to pick up with the most points possible as well. But I have a feeling now that we've turned this into a good old-fashioned bike race here. It was to come up quickly on 1K to go. Well, what a season.
Getting caught real quickly, though. Not going to get away, that's for sure. As we do have, it looks like, Ariel now making a move. 5.0. No serious kick. It's risky to go that early. That's really risky. I mean, maybe just a bait situation because I think he's going to get caught. But here goes James.
Yeah, James opened this race, and he's going to try to close this race as they bring it down inside of 0.8K to go. So he spent about as much time in the wind as anybody out here today is the Welshman, but this peloton looks like they are champing at the bit right now as Swedish Swifters. They definitely are ready to rock up. They've got one challenge left. They've got these Dragons presented by Sunweb to deal with here. So I think that's going to be the battles, the Swedes and the Dragons. We're locked and loaded now, and here you go. It's going to be DPAC hitting out. This might be good for the overall win. Sebastian Libon is flying right now, Nathan. Libon going clear.
Love to see it. This is so great here. DPAC putting one final stamp, at least on the season, to try and take a first across the line. It's going to be massive points, actually, for this first across the line, so that's great to see it. Maybe able to jump them up in the standings a little bit, actually. Well, at least hold off anybody behind them here, but it's really just about pride at this point, isn't it, for this move?
I would agree. This is a bike racer doing what bike racers do.
Oh, no. As we were speaking, it's going to be Birkins. Birkins with the feather power up. Devola tries.
Just getting him, too.
Oh, man. What a heartbreak. What a heartbreak as we watch the top. Talk about a very even
Nathan,
playing field.
What? Nathan, hold the press. The Dragons may have just done something incredible here.
You think so?
They're only 64 points out. They are going to be very close here. Look how many Dragons found. 4 Dragons in the top 8, including the win. They take 5, 6, and 8. There's not a Swedish Swifter to be found until you get outside of the top 12? No, 9th for Gustav Andersson. The Dragons might have done it. Hold the presses, folks. Talked about there was still a chance. It was an outside chance. I mean, they would have gotten ridiculously long odds on them. I'm talking like 10-1 kind of chance that they would have to take that win. But, I mean, you see what I'm talking about, Nathan? When you look at those points, finish line points are very valuable. Swedish Swifters definitely came up short for their finale where the Dragons crushed it. It's not just the win, which is important. It's the fact that they've got 3 other guys in the top 8 or 9.
Nice move here by LeBron, trying to make it happen.
Yes,
My heart broke for
Sebastian
him.
set the tone.
My heart broke from as he was caught at the line there by the Dragons. It was a really good kick though by Birkins there from the Dragons with that feather power up, a late feather power up right through that section with the free speed you kind of get sitting on the wheels. That's the way to do it here through this section, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So unfortunately for Sebastian, he holds on for second place, but for the Dragons, I mean, yeah, take a look at what you've got here.
See if we got any
This is a
updates on the
replay now.
points just yet. These are a couple of the final spaces to come on through. Look at how far back LeBron
Are there
ended up.
FTS at the finish as well, or is it just
No,
FAL?
I do not believe there are
just
FTS on that.
your finish
I would
spot.
be, you know what though? Like, let me double check that.
Boy, do the Dragons wish I was wrong, right? Or that there were if there were FTS points there.
It says south forward climb twice. It says that on the rules right here. Skur Summit,
Which
south
makes it
forward climb
significantly
×2.
better chance here because the man who won the race is also going to have the FTS, I would think.
That's a good point, actually.
Nothing. And yeah, I mean, BRAEk ends up with 2 riders in the top 3, but the story starts now, to tell you the truth. It's these spots here where it's so many of the Dragons and not enough Swedes. That's Gustav coming through there. He finished 9th for the Swedish Swifters.
Waiting for an update
He was their
still
first.
on the points, just so everybody knows. As we wait for those, we'll
This is where I really need that server to kick in. Someone throw some ice on it or something. Do not throw water on a computer.
No, we don't need the ice. The way that things stood as we were heading,
it was about 64 points, if I remember correctly. The differential between.
Yeah, this is how things were. So
that's the final right there. That's how close it was. It came down to 8 points. The Dragons made it 8 points.
Well, we don't have the finish line points yet.
Well, then the Dragons win. If that's not the finish line, then the Dragons dominate today.
Think so?
Yeah, for sure. Right. But I think that's the finish points.
They got the FALs
but if it's not
that
the finish,
coming through there, and well, the fin
if
is
there's more points to come, the Dragons win.
That FIN is where the finish line points will come in. So we're still on 0 on the finish line at this point.
Then congratulations to the Dragons.
Yeah, I think
because they definitely had a better finale than the Swedish Swifters did. I'm shocked. Actually, I thought the Swedish Swifters had built up enough of a buffer there.
Like walked away, didn't it? It did seem
but they didn't. Over. I mean, that was sort of reliant upon them not completely fading in the finale as well, which unfortunately, more or less, they really, it was just lights out for them there when it came down to, I mean, only getting 1 guy in the top 10 with the Dragons putting 4 in the top 10. That's such a massive delta for the Dragons, points-wise. I mean, their gain is so huge there.
You know,
that's why I felt like that gain. I felt like we had to be looking at that gain here already. But you're right. I mean, we're not seeing any points under finish line there. This is just a tally, and that does add up correctly. I see you refreshing in that FAL and FTS. Those are the 2. But you also get the feeling that if there are FTS, that's fastest through segment points at the finish, that number is going to be to the benefit of the Dragons as well.
I'm being told by Martin actually live right now. He's letting me know over at WTRL that there are FTS and FAL over the top of there as well. So
okay, so how could the Dragons not win?
Yeah,
I think you follow me.
And it looks to me like they did take this down. I'm just double checking here as I'm updating the brackets and everything. The brackets I think have updated, which I mean that blows me away that they were able to make up that much. I mean, look at this. Right here,
it's not even
gold.
honestly going to be close.
Seeing the gold here, SZ then BRAEk. This is the order that they came through, so it looks like the Dragons did it. Nicely done.
So we just need the points to update there for. But yeah, I mean, I think that is anticipating the updated points, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think on the back end, this graphic updated quicker than on our end. So
it's not even going to be close then, to tell you the truth.
You don't think so? You think it's pretty?
No. If it's only 8 points coming into it, and we haven't scored FTS, FAL, and finish line points.
Yeah, it's a good
I have
point.
a feeling FAL and finish line points are the same thing at the finish line. But the FTS points there will be
Nicely done by
massive.
the Dragons. I mean, it
Yeah,
goes
good for
to
them to
show,
fight all the way
then
to the
what's the
finish.
story here then is that in ZRL racing like this, in a points race with that many points on the line for that final climb, I kind of like that idea that in the finals, one final climb, you can stack up a bunch of points up front and get yourself in a good position, but it all came down to that final skirt, really.
Yeah, and I mean that's honestly why in like a points race at the Velodrome they have double point finales, that kind of thing, because you do want to have a heightened importance on the end of the bike race, and played out perfectly today for WTRL in our ZRL racing. That's a great final, and the fact that it was all in play and you thought a team had it in hand, but it wasn't over until it was over, and then there was a bit of an upset. But for the Dragons, maybe not an upset at all.
Really
Might have
nicely
been
done.
right in their plan.
Yeah, SC, they were so aggressive up front, so aggressive. Dragons end up holding off, though, and I think at the end of the day, this is going to be our results. Dragons, RT Sunweb, SZ Boulder, then Deepak do hold on for third, it looks like. Zed Sunderpants in fourth. It's going to be Sisu Racing Makota in fifth, Down and Dirty Osprey sixth, and Level Skyweb Phoenix. That is going to be the order that I am seeing. So, well, that's going to be it for our ZRL coverage for the finals here, Dave. It's been really exciting covering this, and I really got to give a shout out to WTRL as far as the format this time around and the brackets and everything, all the work that they've done on the website. Super, super clean, super appreciated, and this bracket tournament style. It's one of my favorite formats actually to see.
Yeah, it's amazing how much Martin and WTRL manages, and the participation is mind-blowing. And yeah, to continue to make the product better and better is truly something else. So great job, everybody. Awesome season. Fantastic racing. I'm sure people are already plotting, and you can see these teams now. These teams have many generations to them. Just another season coming up is always something to look forward to.
Now, one other thing to look forward to coming up on Thursday, it is Power to the Tower, the final race in the Zwift World Series for the men and the women's elites. If you want to check that out, that course, we were looking at that course last night. KOM, Mountaintop KOM, the grade, and to the top of the mountain KOM after the grade, and then descend and climb the Mountaintop KOM and the radio tower. So it's going to be like an hour and 20 minutes for the men, hour and a half for the women, maybe a little bit less than that.
Climbing, really.
I mean, it's going to be a hard day. Hard day of racing, that's for sure. It's going to be exciting. So if you want to check that out, it's actually already scheduled on this site that we are on right now, YouTube, over for Zwift's page. So go ahead and make sure to turn on your notification bells for that, as we will be live for that in just a little under 48 hours. Besides that, though, from Dave and I, we really appreciate all of you hanging out with us for the Zwift Racing League finals, and we'll see you next time. As always, ride on.